Welcome to Daddy vs. Doctor. Here are your hosts, pediatrician Dr. Scott Cohen and comedian Sebastian Maniscalco.
Welcome to Daddy vs. Doctor. Today we have a very special guest. My father has graced us with his presence. He's a very busy man. He's visiting here from Los Angeles, and when I told him, hey, do you mind being a guest on the podcast, he had to clear his schedule for this.
He just stopped making a paper airplane to run up here immediately.
Yes. I mean, I'll drop everything.
This is like daddy versus doctor. Daddy.
This is Triple Daddy.
triple like a triple Lindy.
So today we brought him on, and we were talking prior to coming up here, and he goes, I don't even know if I remember anything I ever did as a dad.
Well, that was going to be my first question. Name your children.
That's kind of pretty hard.
Who are
I
your
have
children?
to go back into my memory.
I thought, and you kind of did some due diligence here, and you wanted to play a game with my father, maybe ask him a couple questions about parenting, different styles, his generation, maybe opposed to our generation, which obviously we've known through my comedy that this man has a different approach when it came to child rearing as he looks upon me. I could tell. Like, we went to soccer yesterday. I brought him to the soccer game. Yeah. Right. And
Black trench coat?
No. I should have.
You should.
He actually was sitting there watching the game, and I'm sitting there as he's watching it, trying to figure out like what's going through his head. How is he perceiving all this?
Right.
When I interact with my son or daughter, what he's thinking, because I know he's very opinionated, right? So the way he would probably handle stuff is a lot different than how we would handle stuff.
100%.
And I think some of these questions might indicate.
What do you think about that? The new father is very hands-on.
Right.
Yeah.
Big
very
time.
handsy. I mean, when you look at that, you're like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. I never really. I don't like parents.
I don't like parents.
Parents to get it so involved.
Yeah.
And be so vocal.
Yeah.
When they see their kids playing a game, they're kind of I remember seeing him playing at soccer, and some of the parents saying, "Good hustle, good this, good that." They sucked.
Yeah.
Why? If they're bad, they're bad. Just saying. Don't cover up their inaptitude to play a game. I mean, come on. They lost 10-1, and they say, good hustle, good. Why? You lost 10-1. Why you make it more than it is? I mean, you give them so much confidence on the kids, to give confidence to the kids.
Yeah.
But when they go to this, because practitioner, whatever it is you're playing, everybody plays the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And then when you start going in high school, let's say, the best player plays, right?
Right.
Now, these kids, they already know the parents are saying how good they are. And all of a sudden, it's a shock to them, saying, why am I not playing? I thought I was good when I was 10 years old. And now all of a sudden, I'm not good anymore.
See, so as a child, you never get any type of encouragement. Then did you just think you sucked all the time?
Not that I sucked all the time, but after the game in the car, there would be some praise if I did good. But most of the time, I think and I'm starting to see this as a parent. My kid was a little timid yesterday. He was a little scared to go for the ball. And instinctually, as a parent, you're like, come on, go get the ball. Right. But then at the same time, you're like, all right, he's 4. He's playing with older kids.
Learn to walk.
Yeah. But I could see that as he would grow up, maybe when he becomes 10, and you could speak to this because your kids are in soccer. you're sitting there almost going, oh, you should have done that. You should have. Why didn't you slide tackle? You were too scared to get it or whatnot. So I could see now as a parent where some of the criticisms I received as a kid might be valid. However, and we often discuss this, just the way he presents it is very confrontational. And it's just, the gift is not really wrapped well.
You know what? But
You get the point.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
a sharp point.
Yeah, but come on, you have admitted in the past that your approach might be a little barbaric.
Tough? No, tough.
Well, I mean,
Tough.
don't you think that as you've grown older, you reflect back on and go, maybe
Well, wait. So has that changed as a grandfather? So you're at the game yesterday. Are you like Caruso, let's go? Or you're still like, most of these kids suck?
Well, because really, that age, you
Right.
cannot really.
No, they're
you
right.
know,
They're
that-
chasing
But it's
butterflies.
again, as they get like 9, 10 years old,
Yeah.
then I still saying, come on, they do better. Let the parents tell them, son. First of all, I don't know about you.
Yeah.
First of all, I mean, soccer really improved a lot since I was here. I came to America.
Mhm.
There was no soccer. And now you have, like him, you have playing in high school, you have a teacher as a coach. Well, 99.9%, that person never played soccer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean that because he doesn't play soccer, he doesn't know soccer.
Right.
Most of the time, that's what it is, though.
Mhm.
They don't know soccer. And they don't know how to coach. So they have to get especially the teacher that does soccer is because he wants a little bit more money. They get paid, right? So that's
See, we should put him in charge of the U.S. national soccer program. We would be on the right track.
he had a problem with me playing the way I played.
Yeah.
He had a problem with the coach in
That
high
was the
school.
coach's fault for your plan?
No.
Oh.
The coach's fault that he wasn't a good coach.
Right. He could.
What was the problem?
I could not coach because I would not be how the coaches. I would be fired before.
He'd be sued.
Before
Right, you'd be
sued.
sued.
Before
You'd
sued.
be on
At
the-
that time, no.
The,
But now,
the
yes.
Italian Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
You walk out and be like, everybody go home. And they're like, kids are crying. They're 4 years
Right,
old, 5
right,
years old.
right.
He's like, you suck. You're out.
Yeah, but I don't see. Just give. Don't sugarcoat everything.
Yeah.
And that's what parents nowadays
A
do.
lot of it.
And I don't see it. And that's why I believe
Yeah.
that kids are too soft nowadays compared to when you grew up and I was the father.
Yeah.
They're way too soft. I see it. I see what maybe I don't know why parents make that too soft. They kind of, what is the reason for it? What is are you too soft with your kids in sports or you just, fit
No.
off and follow the.
No, I'm not. The problem is I go back and forth because whenever I try to push, then I feel bad after the fact.
I didn't feel bad.
I know. Well, what kind of kid was he?
Kid is fun.
Like personality, shy? Was he outgoing? Was he easy?
No, it was not shy, but it was not the type of guy that type of kid that joined everybody else.
Yeah.
It was not a joiner.
Got it.
And talking about, he was kind of, you have like 11 players, you have 10 players there talking,
Yeah.
and it was out of that. But he attract though
Other people.
other kids.
Okay.
He attract other kids. They have friends, but he didn't want to be
In the group.
in the group.
And was he a good kid? He listened to you? Like you never had issues?
None of it.
Nothing.
I was a saint. I mean, honest to God. I mean, I made your life as a parent easy.
Yes.
It was Jessica that was a
Jesse
problem.
was my daughter. Yeah, my daughter was.
See, I can't even see.
Oh,
Jessica comes in the office, hands folded. Thank you so much.
No.
She's bowing.
Not-
She's
not with
so
me.
nice and
Not with
polite.
me. Not with
Really?
me.
She get really? Did you parent differently having a son and a daughter? Because I saw that with my parents. I have 2 girls, so I don't have a comparison. But my parents were different with my sister, and maybe also she was the youngest, than they were with me and my brother.
Because she was the way she was?
I think some of it was that, but also just being, I think they were a little stricter because she was a girl.
Well, no, you know what? I think we were talking with, no, I was talking to her, that she joined a soccer team.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And
It's like a soccer episode.
Yeah, right.
Like,
well, I mean, I'm
I
talking
know.
the way she was.
yeah.
She just did it for fun.
Okay.
And I went to see, I think after 3 games, I stopped going to see her because she was not there to compete.
Mm.
She was there to, the last game I saw was somebody kicked the ball high, and she was just fixing her hair, and,
Yeah.
putting a ponytail. And I'm saying, and then I said, Jesse, what are you doing? She goes, I'm not Sebastian. There was
There's some competition.
competition. I says, I'm here for fun.
But here's a perfect example of that generation parenting and us. She's just there for fun.
Right.
He don't show up anymore. Right? I mean, like,
That's it.
completely detached. I'm not coming to the game unless I see that you won a championship.
Unless
Competition.
Unless you're going NCAA scholarship. All right, so I want to give you some situations.
Okay.
We'll give you some, dad situations. What would you do? Then I want to hear what Sebastian would do currently,
Okay.
and then I'll tell you how you're both wrong.
All right. As a doctor,
Yes.
and you deal with kids,
Yes.
do you have to deal? That's a question to you before we start.
No, I got it.
Do you deal with when, beside medical, they bring the kid something wrong?
Medical, yeah.
Medical. Do you listen to the parents
Yeah.
and thinking mentally, say they really have to adjust the way they talk or the way they feel about?
A lot. I mean, most of what we do is behavioral, developmental counseling of families more than what we do medical. That's the crazy thing.
Okay.
All my training was in medical, and most of what I do is parenting, which you never learned in a classroom. You learn by experience, on the job experience.
Okay, that's
So, right. If parents didn't show up to work, I'd have the easiest job in the world. Kids are easy. As a parent, you guys are tough.
yeah.
Right?
Okay, that's what
Right?
I was thinking. Okay.
All right. So let's say, and I don't even know if you're going to know that. I don't even know if you were home when these things happened.
Probably not.
I mean, you may just say, I would tell my wife to deal with it.
Right.
I don't know. But maybe you may have to go back old school, like in the old country, what you used to do.
Okay.
So Sebastian's got 105 fever. What are you doing?
Peel potatoes, and put it right in the forehead to take the temperature out.
Okay.
You learned that in school?
No. Does it matter what kind of potato? Russet or?
Doesn't matter. Just
No.
slice it,
Yeah.
put it on top of the head with a handkerchief to put it there.
Yeah.
And usually the potato throws the heat out of the.
So, in your mind, though, and I like that remedy, are you? No, because you talk about what the parent thinks, right?
Okay.
Nowadays, when I say 105 fever to you, does that concern you at all? I got to take him to the hospital. He's gonna seize. He's gonna go brain damage, or you're just like, big deal, fever, potatoes. We're making
Well,
French fries.
because I think they say the temperature for a grown up and for a kid is totally different.
Okay.
They can, 102, 103 is not like a grown up. Everyone, am I right or wrong?
Well, I don't know that the number ever matters. But go with it. No, but you're not worried. You're not worried. Based on your response, you're not worried.
Not like you go crazy.
Right. Because Caruso has a 105 fever. What are your thoughts?
I'm calling you.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, my
First of all, before we even say anything, there's panic already on his face. I say 105 fever, there was nothing. You were like, I had to wake you up with the question. He's already like,
What a minute.
sirens.
Hold on. The difference is that we didn't have doctors
Right.
to go to right away.
Right.
We didn't.
Yeah.
You take care at home unless it really gets into
Okay.
that.
Right.
something
Exactly.
else.
So okay. So you're talking. All right. Call me.
If you weren't available, we would cold rag
Okay.
on the head.
Okay.
We did that. She had a little fever the other night. Put a
Yeah.
little cold rag on her head. Tylenol.
Yeah.
And then a lot of praying.
Yeah.
Right. Because 105 to me
Right.
would indicate that there is a big problem. She's overheating. There's a big problem.
Yeah.
But to your point, that
Right.
really doesn't matter.
No, and it's funny, and this is a good point, and this is very generational that our parents. I remember my mom saying the same thing. I knew as a kid, I think you did too. If your parents were taking you to the doctor, something was seriously wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had to be. Your parents must have been thinking you were dying to take you to the doctor because you couldn't call anybody. You didn't just go. You just figured it out at home, and then if there was an emergency, there was an emergency. So it's very interesting because nowadays, yes, a lot of our calls in the middle of the night are fever, and it's not even the child's first fever. The kid could be 4 years old and has many fevers, and it hits a number, and the parents immediately are very scared, understandably. But in reality, and we've talked about this before, height of fever doesn't mean anything. So 101 to 105 in my head, same exact thing. Height of the fever doesn't correspond to severity of illness. You treat it with Tylenol or ibuprofen, age appropriate. And the key is more, does it come down? How does the child look when they're not having fever? Because when they're having fever, everybody looks like crap, eyes rolling, red, sweaty, lethargic, breathing fast, heart racing fast. How do they look when the fever's down, and how many consecutive days of fever? Because typically viral fevers last about 3 to 5 days. So if it's going longer, you want to know why. So you look for those three things. And then any fever in a child under 2 months, that is actually an emergency, something you should talk to your doctor about because you worry about more things before they're vaccinated. And then the other concern we get a lot is, high fevers cause seizures. And we talked about that actually it's due to the rate of rise. So if they're already 104, 105, I know they're actually not going to seize. The fever's already risen. So it's not a concern.
Okay. So
Yeah.
To his point, we didn't have doctors. We didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
I think this generation relied a lot on the parents. Like you would call.
And community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what did you do when I had 105?
Right.
Oh, we put potatoes on this, that. I don't think that's I've never called him and asked any medical advice in regards to my kids because this is what you would get. You would get either a potato remedy or don't worry about it. It's okay.
Right.
So
that sense of community has changed a lot because I think we had a smaller community because we had our immediate family and friends that we could talk to because you couldn't go out into the world. And even though it was a smaller group, the information was almost more consolidated and trusted now because we don't have a sense of community in that you tend not to call your family. Everybody's remote, but you have a larger group of people giving you instruction via the internet, which that information, it's almost too much and it's hard to weed through. And then that's what becomes scary because somebody on the internet's going to tell you, my kid had 105 fever and had brain damage and ended in the hospital, and that's the N of 1. And then you're freaking out where you need the people to be telling you, it's fine, everything's going to be fine. We ended up okay because the majority of times it's okay. The temperature that it takes to have something wrong with your brain will never be caused by infection. We're talking almost 107 plus, and it would only happen if you're locked in a hot car, like in the desert. You don't get it from infection itself. Okay. So nonstop vomiting.
Well, I never had that, so I don't know how I would respond to that.
The kids.
The kid never
had vomiting? Diarrhea.
Not diarrhea, yes. If I couldn't tell you, but there is a remedy for it for ourselves. I forgot what we used to do for diarrhea. Like you say, I think probably my parents, I would call my parents to find out what they used to do and apply that first, and then probably say, the first probably thing would be, or maybe something that causes that. That's my first thing. And if it continues, like I say, I really not have that that we have a doctor there to call.
Yeah.
Or even if it was not a doctor specialized in like you specialize in children. We didn't have that. We have just a regular doctor that we call.
Yeah, the shaman comes.
And so here, I'll probably, maybe if it continues without stopping, I probably will call a doctor to find out, should I bring him in or whatever.
All right, vomiting and diarrhea?
Vomiting and diarrhea, I ask Lana, what did you feed them?
Okay, so it's interesting you both go to something that they ate. Okay.
And then, again, because I'm spoiled, everything funnels through you.
Yeah, but assume you didn't have me.
Find somebody else.
Assume I'm on vacation.
You know what? I would go to the internet.
Okay.
I know that's not something that people recommend, particularly you, because you'll go down a rabbit hole of disinformation and what have you.
Yeah.
But I'd probably look at the internet and Sprite or 7-Up.
Sprite or 7-Up.
Apparently that was given to me to quell my stomach issues growing up. Particularly 7-Up was, wasn't that the, and I think you're talking to
ginger ale.
Or ginger ale.
Ginger ale, right?
But it was a 7-Up vibe. Something that it was clear and had some gas in it.
Yeah.
But you're talking to a guy, I think, and you're going to see this probably in a lot of the questions, that nothing really is a concern.
Right.
Because, I think of the upbringing and where he comes from. And he came from a small fishing village in Sicily where you've probably seen a lot, and you've probably seen your mother handle it just at the home because there just wasn't the medical expertise around. So you're going to get an answer that, I probably, look at him, take a shit, and go, okay, it's going to pass. We're trying to solve the issue, right? So
right, it's perspective, right? He saw basically by doing nothing, most of the time you ended up fine.
Yeah.
My perspective is I've seen this case a million times, and I also know it's going to be fine by doing the things we talk about. Parents usually go with vomiting and diarrhea right to food poisoning, when rarely is it ever food poisoning. We think about that in adults, right? You get it. It's like, oh, what did I just have? The sushi or, Chick-fil-A or something. But in kids, it's usually viral. It's hard to tell the difference, honestly, but food poisoning usually is more violent and very, short-lived. It's like that quick 12 to 24 hours and out. In viruses, the vomiting and diarrhea in kids can sort of come and go for like 7 to 10 days. So it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, everybody is always worried about dehydration immediately with both of these, and they're trying to load things up. And the key is, it's okay if the child doesn't eat. You get crampy belly pain with both of these things. They don't eat for a week, not a problem, as long as they're drinking and peeing. The big thing with diarrhea, we say stay away from dairy, because anything with lactose causes you to have more crampy belly pain and more diarrhea, because you get basically a transient lactose intolerance when you have these stomach bugs. So stay off dairy. Don't worry if they don't want to eat. If they do, it's fine. We got away. You heard about the brat diet we used to do: bread, rice, apples, toast to harden poop. We got away from that because you don't want to limit an already limited diet. So it's like if they feel like eating, great. The key is drinking enough to pee until it passes. And that's it. Very rarely. I'm thinking in 20 years, the kids who have had to go to the emergency room or be hospitalized for dehydration due to diarrhea and vomiting, I mean, I can't even think of many. So it doesn't happen, which is good. He has cough, he has congestion, he's got a cold, and he's saying, I don't want to go to school.
He's got a cold?
Yeah.
Does he have a fever?
No fever.
Go ahead, go to school.
Go to school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the old school treatment? Cough and congestion. Anything? Lettuce wraps or?
I think it was Vicks on the
Wicks.
Wicks on the
Wicks.
Wicks with a W.
The Italian.
The Italian version.
Daddy vs. Doctor, sponsored by Wicks.
No. But we used to do hot water.
Yeah.
Put Vicks.
Yeah, Vicks.
Yeah. And put a towel
over
it.
Yeah.
And
burn
breathe.
The face. Yeah.
Okay, that's the congestion.
Okay.
That's the cure.
That is the cure.
We had this issue today with Serafina. Serafina has an outer ear infection, which I don't know exactly what that is in regards to inner, but she didn't go to school on Monday.
Right.
She went to school yesterday, and now we're going backwards. And now
Which
she's
makes no sense.
no sense at all, right?
For swimmer's ear, exactly. Yeah.
Swimmer's ear.
Yeah. Outer ear infection, the common name is swimmer's ear, right? Outer ear infection. So when you think about ear infections, what most people are thinking about are inner ear infections. You basically have a cold, you get fluid behind the eardrum. That fluid sits there and it's a setup for bacterial overgrowth. And then kids complain really bad ear pain. They have cough, congestion, fever. You look, the eardrum is really red. They get antibiotics for that. Serafina came in with ear pain. She hasn't had any cough or congestion. She actually hasn't even been swimming much. But when I looked at her ear, the outer ear canal itself was red. And when I went like this to her ear, she complained of pain. The eardrum itself was clear, and behind the eardrum, there was no fluid clearance. So it's not related to a cold or a bacterial inner ear infection. She's got an outer ear infection. And why this happens is, and why they call it swimmer's ear, is when you swim a lot, you have get water in your ear, which we all do, and who cares? But when water evaporates, it thins the lining of the ear canal, which sets up for bacteria to get in there and cause an outer ear infection. Okay. You do ear drops. Never a reason. Nobody's ever missed school for outer ear infection.
Okay, so this is 2 days, right? No, well, again, this is where I need you to talk
she
to
went
Lana.
yesterday.
And she went yesterday.
Yeah.
So when Lana woke up this morning, I wasn't there. I was working out. And I came inside, and she's like, then Serafina's here. I go, why? No, I'm staying home. So I said,
She's down there making bracelets. She has a sweatshop going on down
That's what I said.
there. I mean, she can't go to school.
She's making bracelets.
No, I know.
How sick can you be? You're making bracelets. You got one too.
I mean, how many?
So
That's good. She's selling.
I don't know. So
Go to school.
yeah, I think to go to school was back then when we were growing up was a lot of like, you ain't sick, go to school.
Right. But also I think schools didn't care, right?
Right.
It's the whole, I walked in the snow 10 miles to school. It just, you just went, everybody dealt with it. I guarantee no teacher ever called a parent when we were kids to say, pick up your kid, they got a runny nose, they've been coughing in class.
And there was no nurses either in the school at that time. I mean, yeah, there was no nurses.
We had a nurse.
You did?
You didn't have a nurse. We had a nurse. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, there was a nurse in the fucking next to the principal's office. There was a nurse.
Mom told you that there was no nurse there to give in her school. She was a school secretary. That they had to give kids who are allergic to some stuff,
Right.
and they have to give them shots.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
there was
the
there
math
was
teacher did it.
yeah, there was no nurses
No,
then. And
yeah.
ask him.
There was
You're
a
bleeding, they
nurse.
probably tourniqueted
There
you.
was
They
no
go to
nurse.
math class.
Okay, now there was no
nurse.
You weren't even. You were at work. What the hell did you know about the school?
Well, I knew there was no nurse.
But you're on board. I mean, so yeah, you're sort of like, you need to go to school.
Yeah, I'm like, get to go to school. But now this is going to be an argument. I can tell where this is going already. Right? She's going to come home.
Getting enlisted.
And this is where I need a medical professional to go to Lana. Why isn't she in school? And then she's gonna tell you she just didn't look good. She didn't look good. This one's acting. And then she leaves. And next thing you know, 19 bracelets.
I just got asked this yesterday. So a family came in for a different reason and then said they needed a note for me to write for their school, 2-year-old, that if she has a runny nose, it's allergies, so that the child can go to school, because if she has a runny nose and it's a cold, they can't be there. And I said, first of all, that makes absolutely no sense. If you can't go to school with a runny nose, especially a 2-year-old, you're not going to school between September and March. Nobody's going to school. I mean, we know this with kids. They're constantly colds. And yeah, it's hard to say if it's allergies or cold. The bottom line, that can't be the reason not to be in school. If you have fever, I get it. If you're coughing nonstop, if you got drippy, that's the right thing to do. But in general, kids with mild symptoms should be able to go to school. The kids.
I agree.
All right, I like that. Rash all over the body. Red bumpy rash all over the body. What are you thinking? And you were like pre-vaccine era, so I mean, you may think it could be. I mean, who knows?
I don't know. Rash. I think, you know what?
Yeah.
We wait until really, if it stays on.
Yeah.
We wait.
If he's walking and talking.
And we wait.
You're just
We
waiting.
wait. We're not,
Yeah. Any salves? Any like? What are you putting on? What are you putting on it?
We used to have a cream
Uh huh.
from Italy.
Yeah.
they used to put on.
Yeah.
But that cream for any reason.
For everything.
And
So-
for everything we put it on.
I have a story about this. I had a sprained ankle from soccer, and he's like, "Sit down," and he bring out this mysterious tube, and he starts massaging my ankle. I go, "What is it?" He goes, "It's Vegetalia." I said, "What?" Vegetalia from Italy, right? It's like a cure-all. It's like it literally. I could walk again. It was like magic.
Wow.
Magic cream.
Wow,
That-
we should be
that's the
selling
first
this.
aid. That's the first aid that we usually use.
Vegetalia.
Vegetalia.
No,
This, you know what?
Can we Google
you
this?
know
guys?
what?
See if
Vegetalia.
we can find this.
Can we get that up?
Get this
But
up.
we,
Yep.
when I went to my own town,
Yeah.
I go, you know,
Yeah.
I asked for that. I went to the pharmacy just for that, and they still have it. And that's like about 50
I mean,
years.
we should be bringing it here.
How would your patients feel
Yeah.
if the kid came in and had a rash and you're gonna go, "I subscribe a little Vegetalia for you," and they go, "Where do I get that?"
I think I could play that card. I think I could be like, I have an herbal supplement that it works wonders,
Okay.
and I think I could, yeah.
No.
I'm gonna put it on the TV behind him, Pat.
I don't
Yeah,
think. I don't think you're gonna have that. I don't.
This
think,
stuff is so obscure, the internet don't even have it.
right. I don't think they have.
Google don't even know about it.
But you can tell. Okay. Do you remember? We have. Remember when Jessica, you two, were grandparents were babysitting you guys, and Jessica got a stomachache.
okay, here's another thing.
Yeah.
Here's another remedy.
All that.
His parents were babysitting my sister and I. My sister had a stomach
Oh
ache.
my God.
That's it.
This is it.
Holy, and look at
the tin.
it's in the same tin it was in 40
Yeah.
years ago. It was
Yeah.
probably made 40 years
I
ago.
think
and
now.
sitting there.
I think they have it in a tube, and it was a tube
Can
too.
we
but
buy
they-
that?
You have any at the house?
Yeah, but it's been there for a long time.
It's okay.
Since
That stuff doesn't go bad.
this
This came out of a bomb shelter. Look at this stuff. You can eat it. You can do anything.
So you can put it on bread. It's nice.
Does Dom sell it at a store?
it should.
My sister was on the kitchen floor.
Yeah.
And I came out. I was watching TV. She was on the kitchen floor with her shirt up. And my grandfather, with his bare foot,
No, he had a. Excuse me. He had a. We have a leaf, vegetable leaf. Was he had that or no?
on her.
On her.
Yeah, I didn't get too close to see what was going on because I was watching this from afar as my grandmother sat next to them, and he rubbed her belly with the bottom of his foot, and she threw up.
Okay.
And she felt better. Okay. On the car ride home, I asked my father, Grandpa was rubbing Jessica's belly with his foot, and right away he goes, he's got a magic foot. Now, explain
the magic foot.
Explain the magic foot to the room.
When a baby, in not all of them do, when the baby's born,
Yeah.
their wrap could be the hand or the foot, depends where they got. I think it's a snake,
No, wolf.
wolf skin
Wolf skin.
around it.
Yeah.
And let
I'm
it
not gonna ask what we're eating with the wolves. Okay.
and becomes a magical type of a thing.
Okay. They
They
do
use-
this with every child? They pick out a hand
not
or a
every
foot?
no,
A
not every
chosen child.
Chosen child. I don't have it.
He doesn't have. He
I
doesn't.
don't have.
They didn't. But they did it with my uncle.
Yeah.
What does he have? A magic what? He has a magic
magic
hand.
hand.
So my grandfather got a magic foot. My uncle got it. It skipped a generation hit with him. No wolf skin here. All right.
And you know if I kicked you in the stomach, you would vomit as well.
But is that Sicilian?
Gotta be. I don't know.
Okay.
That's I never heard before, but this is what. But I ran from generation to generation. My cousin had it. Some of my cousin had it too. So I don't know. Right now, if you picture that, probably my father would be in jail.
Well, as long as you don't leave a mark. That
Yeah.
magic foot.
But
the wolf
there
skin.
is a leaf, I really don't know, of some kind of vegetable
Yeah.
they use for upset stomachs and stuff like that to
Mm.
put on the body. I don't know. I'll find out though.
Find out what the leaf was.
My cousins.
Because when we have you on next time,
yeah.
I want to know what the
I'll
leaf
find
is.
out.
I want to try these things.
But here, talk about generational. My grandfather is rubbing my sister with his foot, and now how far we've come as far. But who knows? Maybe that did work. I don't know. She went to go
Maybe
throw
that
up.
was the
you know,
better way of
I
doing
think
this.
there's a that I told you the leaf that really helps.
Yeah, but
I don't know which
but
one
the
it is.
foot-
What it is.
The foot is
The foot is the magical thing. But I think no, the leaf was on the stomach. Believe me.
okay.
Okay.
There was a leaf involved, but
Vegemania.
yeah, Vegetalia mania.
Vegetalia. These were great. Do you remember any other home remedies? Soups? Anything?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
What grows hair?
Grows hair?
Yeah.
Nothing grows hair.
Nothing?
If
Figure
I
being
would
in
be
the
a
hair
millionaire,
business,
if
you would be
it
like that.
I'd be a millionaire if it grows hair that
Yeah.
you don't have.
Maybe you should be rubbing the tip on
Maybe
your
I should.
head.
Yeah, you never know. Hey.
Maybe, that could be the cure.
If you ask him, and your sentence starts with "Do you remember?"
It's hard.
It's you don't remember. This shit only.
Yeah, go ahead.
This stuff that we're talking about
Yeah.
is coming up because we're just kind of organically talking about it. But if you ask him,
No memory.
not
Memory is gone.
But I mean, but
Maybe if my father was alive, I would say put that in my
Right.
and see if my memory comes up.
I mean, I think you look great for 103. So I mean,
we're having such a good time here talking to my father, but we are out of time. So if you want to pick up the next half of this episode next week, where we dive into more questions with Salvatore Maniscalco and his non-magical foot.
The opinions expressed in this program are not intended as professional medical advice, as a diagnosis, as a treatment protocol, or as a substitute for professional medical advice from your physician. Please consider your own medical history and consult with your own physician for your specific healthcare and/or medical needs and about your concerns for yourself and your family.